Hello, my name's Nathan Cleary, and I'm here today with Consordini.com again. And today I'm going to be talking to you about the 10 best features to get to know if you're starting with Cubase, and hopefully even if you're seasoned pro, there'll be a little thing in here that you can take away from this video, and maybe something you didn't realize, or maybe something you haven't been utilizing in Cubase. So I hope there's a little bit of something for everyone in this video today. I'm going to try and keep it as short as I can, just to get it kind of bullet point and really concise and useful for all you users out there. But as always, don't forget to head over to Consordini.com and check out their website for more articles, more videos like this today, and just a really cool resource for musicians, producers, composers, etc. So if you're a beginner or even if you're a seasoned pro, there's a bit of something for everyone, hopefully in this video and over at Consordini.com. Okay, so let's boot up Cubase. When you open Cubase, you'll be brought up with this screen, and you know, some of them you use more than others, but I've got a main template, which I'll actually be looking to show you in depth in another templates video I've got planned with Consordini.com, but we'll have a quick look at it today. But it's good to have a bunch of different templates for different jobs and stuff like that. I used to solely use Ableton for a number of years because I love Ableton, by the way. It's ease of use, it's very pick up and play. But I find that Cubase is very thorough, I would say. Of course, you can do most things in any DAW, but Cubase really lends itself to professional templates and being ready. I feel like Cubase is a lot busier on the front end of the production. You have to think about your templates, and you have to do a couple of jobs and stuff through Cubase to know what your template should be, and your templates are always changing with you, which is the great thing. But I always found when I was working in Ableton, Ableton's very good at pick up, play, plug in, play, go, go, go. Whereas Cubase kind of tends to be a bit slower at the start. I think the learning curve is a lot steeper than some other DAWs, which is kind of a good thing and also can be quite deterring. And I know I was frustrated when I first switched to Cubase, but I absolutely love it now. And templates is one of those reasons. So, you know, I've got just little things here like external instruments, latency testing. It's obviously not a mastering template, but it's not in my main productions template. I do lots of stuff for video games. So I've got, you know, track looping sessions at different sample rates. So when I've exported all my stems from my production, I can drop it straight into a looping session and it's all ready for me. So yeah, I really love, and here we go, I've got some recording here like for really simple stuff. So I'm not using these today, but just some post-production kind of setups and voiceover, just an easy like voice recording sort of thing. I don't use the scoring page too much, but yeah, mainly production, mastering. I kind of imagine this as a post-production kind of preset folder. But yeah, you can do whatever you like, and then you have more over here. So yeah, it's very cool. So let's open up my main template. Okay, so here we are inside my template, looking very blank today. Unfortunately, there's not going to be any audio because I'm just going to show you all my favorite features, but yeah. Okay, so number 2 is the control room, which is just over here on the right-hand side. Also, quick tip, Control-Alt-Right will bring it up and hide it, sort of thing, and same Control-Alt-Left will hide the left side. So yeah, let's have a look at the control room. So I absolutely love this, and when I switched from Ableton, I was so blown away because what I used to do, let me show you my master bus. So down here, I actually use SonarWorks down here, room correction. And what I used to have to do in Ableton, because of the way it's routed in there, is I would have to open like this on the master bus. And of course, you have to remember to turn it off every time that you want to export, because you don't obviously want this curve that's applied by the room EQ to be applied to your final master, to your final mix rather. So yeah, it used to make me so worried when I was doing my final mix down, when I first started using SonarWorks. But the way they have it rooted in Cubase is absolutely genius, because if you come over here, you have your monitors, right? So I have my HS8s, my stereo speakers, and then I have my Avantone Mix Cube, which is my mono speaker just in front of me, and then 2 pairs of headphones. And the thing that blew me away was, not only have you got this, and of course you should always be using shortcuts with Cubase, which again lacks in some other DAWs. So I've got it rooted to keyboard command here. So I've got it rooted to Control Shift and then 1 for my main speakers, 2 for my mono, 3 for my Sony headphones, and then 4 for my AKG headphones. So if I'm listening to a mix, I get it all level balanced, and then I can just flick between them like that, which is already pretty cool. And also flicking between stereo and mono really impresses people when they come into the studio. So it's really cool. So not only can just with one quick shortcut can I flick between different reference monitors, but if you come down here, the inserts, you can apply insert effects just to those monitors, which blew my mind when I discovered this, because I've got a game plugin on here, so I can play some source material over here, and then I can use a game plugin, which is only affecting what you're hearing back. So none of it goes through to your master bus, which is pretty amazing, if you ask me. Yeah, so on my main monitors, as you can see here, I'm on my main monitors. I have SonarWorks Room EQ applied to this. But if we switch over to, with my shortcut, if we switch over to my Avantone, you can see there's nothing on there. And I switch over to my headphones, and then I've got a different room. Well, this is broken. I need to fix this. But you can have different room EQs or headphone EQ software applied to each of your different monitors, which I mean, if you're mixing, is just amazing, because you can flick between. What I used to have to do was obviously turn on one and then go into my Sapphire mix control, go like this, and then change to mono or change to these headphones, blah, 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 blah. And it's so many clicks, even going into different software. But Cubase, bam, 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 bam. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I love it. Okay, so number 3 is the Master Meter. I really love this thing, and I would advise you take it straight out of digital scale and try out some of the other scales. I normally use K-14 because that's really good for kind of standard music, -20 for more orchestral or softer music, and -12 for super loud stuff. This is the scale invented by Bob Katz. I think he had like a special system. I read somewhere that he has a special system, so we're not actually using it the way it was meant to be used, but it's a really, really useful metering style, which I really like. So you want to kind of be heading around the 0 here. The problem with digital is your 0 is all the way up here, and this is obviously in the computer world, this is, can't go past this. So without going into big details and stuff, I just recommend this. This is a really cool kind of level to go for. And your mastering engineer, if you have one, your mastering engineer will thank you for all the headroom that you've got. But yeah, check out some of the other ones. You've got EBU scale and DIN scale. EBU's kind of cool. Good for broadcasting and all that. And you can change all the details on the meter here, which is great. But I have a bunch of third-party meters and all that sort of stuff. But I just find it really useful in Cubase because I can just do that shortcut again, Control-Alt-R. And then if I ever doubt myself, you get carried away when you're making some music, and you think, is this loud? And you start doubting yourself, just Control-Alt-R, and then just check where you are on the meters really, really quickly. Yeah, it's just a really cool little feature. Okay, so the next one is a really cool feature, but it is a bit boring. It's boring and cool at the same time. It's the external instruments section of Cubase. So when I first switched over to Cubase, as I've mentioned a couple of times already, when I first switched over to Cubase, I had a bit of problem with my external synthesizers and getting them to sync properly. I was getting lots of what seemed to be kind of MIDI jitter problems. So I've created my own template, and I did, rigorous testing of all the equipment and all the delay times of each of the equipment, which is incredibly boring and frustrating. But what information I can bestow upon you today is use the external instruments section in Cubase. It takes a while, and to be honest, it's not very user friendly, but the results are great. I mean, it's really, really fantastic now. And I don't know if there's some kind of magic programming kind of delay compensation going on in the background if you use external instruments, but now my sync is so tight. So I mean, if you're using lots of external equipment, do take the time to learn the external instruments. So what I used to do with my hardware setup when I didn't use the external instrument settings was, I'm sure a lot of you at home also do, is I used to create a MIDI track and then an audio track, and then I'd play my MIDI, and then I would arm this to record when I'm ready and finished with a section or whatever I'm recording. But what I would find is there would be different amounts of latency depending on the equipment, which is really, really frustrating. But as soon as I switched over to external instruments, and this will, once I record MIDI into this, it would be tight as a rock. So I don't know what magic is going on in the external instruments section behind the scenes or under the hood, but do use it. It's really, really good, and you only need to set it up once. It's a global parameter in your studio, so that is really, really useful. I really like it now that I've got used to it. It was a pain to set up, to be honest, but you've got, you can set the delay here manually if you like as well for each of your instruments. Say they've got different amounts of latency. And if any of you have lots of external hardware, you know how annoying and anger-inducing latency can be. So it's a really good little section. Try it out. I don't actually have any external effects, but I'm sure if you're mixing, same rules apply. Check it out. Okay, so number 5 is this tab over here, the visibility tab. This is awesome, and this kind of works together with your templates, because this is my general template, and I'll just show you quickly how I've ordered my general template. I've got, melodies and all this stuff here. So, I don't use the vocoder on every track, of course. So if we flick over to the visibility panel over here, instead of just deleting this, like you would in some other DAWs, I can just hide it. Bam. It's not there, and then there you go. But say, halfway through the track, actually, I want to add some vocoder. Bam, already re-enable the visibility, and it's all set up with its bus and a VCA controlling the volume of the left and right. I'm ready to go. And then just say I don't need that for this song. Bam, hide it. So I just think that's a genius feature, and when I used other DAWs, I just think, why don't we have this? I just think it's a great feature, and you can do it for anything. Again, say it don't need sound effects, bam, nothing. Don't need melodies, well, they're very rare, but so you don't need melodies. There you go. Look how clean your workspace becomes. Check out visibility tab. That's really good. And the other bonus thing is all of this is reflected over in the mixer as well, again, which is super cool. So everything you do here, everything you hide here, will be reflected over here. Very cool, very nice feature. So number 6 is this top floating area bar section. I don't know the actual technical name of this, but I know when I first opened up Cubase, my Cubase looked like this. And if you scroll down, let's open all these just so I can scroll down and you can see what I mean. Scroll down, nothing is stuck to the top, as you can see here. As I scroll, everything scrolls with me. But I don't want that. We want to have stuff up the top, no matter if we scroll, it's always going to be there. So this is just a really cool way to keep your most important stuff up here. Well, recently I don't keep the reference track up there. I need to update this. I need to update this template. But yeah, so you can keep, say you're working on a video, you can go over here, click, let's go to you've got rulers, VCA tracks. Let's go to more tracks, video. You know, bam, there's a video track in here, and I can import a video. In the video, I will always be able to see the video up here. And another little hack I love as well is this up here, is to have a ruler here. So you've got, I'll have this normally in beats and bars. You can change this also by right clicking. You can change this to seconds, time code. So if you're in post, that's quite useful. But if you're making music, bars and beats, obviously most important for music. But sometimes you want to know how long your song is just by looking at it. So I'll add in a ruler over here, and then you can left click on here and change samples, etc. But seconds is pretty good for music. So this is a music template. So yeah, this is a really good setup for that. And then you can have your markers tracks here. And if we scroll down, you can see everything very, very clearly. And then I have a notes track. So, you know, say I get lost or there's some setting I need to write down. For example, here, this is when I created this. I wrote a little note to myself about the routing structure over in the mixer. So yeah, it's just nice to have, you know, really important stuff always be visible and available if you need it. Really cool feature. Okay, so number 7 is the mixer. I mean, Cubase's mixer is amazing. I love it. I love it so much. It's really, really, really fantastic. I can't stress it enough. I'll just show you how I've got my page set up. And the thing that really blew me away was being able to have different views of different mix setups within your mix. So it's just so deep. So I'll just show you how I have mine set up. But of course, do leave a comment how you have yours set up, or yeah, just share information about how you're using Cubase. But this is how I have mine set up with key commands, which you should also definitely be doing. If you're not using key commands, what are you doing? You should be. But I have mix tracks, so just all the individual tracks, but not straight from the input. So this is straight from my hardware input here. But these are the actual mix tracks, and then they go to comp buses. For example, maybe on the comp bus, I have one synthesizer play 2 different parts in the song, and then I'll mix them into this comp bus. And then the group bus will be stuff like just kind of higher level. So I'll have like the long rhythm group bus, short rhythm group bus, and yeah, just easy to make fine adjustments like this. And then I have sections bus, which is kind of like the last section of groups I have in my setup. So all vocals, all melodies, and then all rhythm, and then all rhythm and melody, all drums and bass section. And this is kind of my last page before I hit the master, the mix bus, and then the master bus. And then I have effects channels. Obviously I don't have any effects set up here, but this will be just effects I can see here. VCAs, you can see a few in here. So this is just if I want to see all my VCAs quickly, because as great as Cubase is, stuff can get pretty cluttered over here, right? But if we create these different kind of panels over here, it's very easy with the key commands to see what you're doing very, very quickly. Bonus tip, you can also reduce the size here. So you've got lots of tracks and you want to see them all in one kind of panel. You can do this and make them wider like this. But yeah, the beauty of this comes with, I can't show you on the other screen, unfortunately. I have 2 monitors here. But say, you know, I'm looking at the editor on one screen, looking at the waveform, and then I can just flick between the different panels on the mixer, Control Shift Alt 1, 2, 3, like this, and say, what's that? That effect sounds weird. And then I can go over to the effects panel, or I just want to turn the vocals down a tiny bit. I'll just hit my key command and then, you know, just turn that down slightly. And it's just a really quick way to work. It's really, really cool. Check out, these configurations. Check out these configurations over here, mix configurations, and assign a shortcut as quick as you can. It's really great. Okay, so the next one is a really, really quick one I'm going to show you. And of course, I have a key command set up for it. This is Constrain delay compensation. So what this will do is it will turn off any plugins which are creating latency. So this is amazing if you have a project, which I have a lot of the time, where I start making music and then I have a singer come in. And then you need to record with as little latency as possible, but you've got all these plugins already in the project. So going through and turning them all off one by one is terrible, right? That's not a very good way to work. So if I just hit Control, you can hit this button, of course, but if I just hit Control, Alt, Shift, and I've got it assigned to the right enter on my number keyboard, that will enable all of the plugins. So, say they've just recorded and now I want to listen to the mix with all the plugins that I had before. I can do it in just one button and all those plugins will be turned back on. And the same, if we're just about to record, so, okay, singer's ready or performer's ready, Control, Alt, Shift, Enter, all those latency-inducing plugins are now off. I mean, I use this all the time. It's great. Let me show you it in action if I can. So here is a latency-inducing plugin over here, which is the Slate tape, virtual tape machine. And so now I have all the latency on. So if I play this, this will, just act like a normal plugin. But if you look over here, when I hit my shortcut to constrain delay compensation, say I'm just about to record, bam. So you can imagine if you've got a really busy project with loads of these latency-inducing plugins, just one button, on, off, all those latency-inducing plugins is amazing. I mean, it's amazing. Great. Please use it. Okay, so the next one is the Mediabay. This one is for sound designers and people creating sound effects or, podcasts or any of that stuff where you need, sound effects is your main focus. Just hit F5 and it will open up the Mediabay. By default, it kind of comes as a small window, but I kind of feel like there's too much clutter on the screen, so I like to just have it full screen. And also it gets you used to hitting F5 and the shortcuts a bit better to clean up your screen. So, you just go over here, you can have what folder you want to check out. So, I have, normally I just stick to all media and then I change it to audio files if I'm looking for, of course, audio files, but mainly sound effects are audio files. So I'll just go in there, I don't know, let's look for flame. Maybe I want a flame, and it will just load all the stuff you have here. Let's do another one, door, and it will come up with all these files you have on your computer, and this is really, really cool. And it's just such a great feature because if you're a sound designer, you have other software that you pay a lot of money for. So having this built into Cubase and of course Nuendo is fantastic. Mediabay's great. Get used to it. Get used to hitting F5 to look for your samples if you're making music or your sound effects. It's really cool. Check it out. Okay, so last one is number 10, and this one I absolutely love for recording. I mean, it is incredible. It feels like living in the future in the best way possible, and that is the punch in and out locators. I'm sure you've got this in loads of other DAWs. I imagine you've got it in, some other ones, but I know I didn't have it in Ableton when I used that. And punch in and out is just fantastic for working with singers. So as you can see down here, you can do it manually. So we can grab over here and put in punch locator over here, and we can do it manually, but I prefer to do it with the shortcut as always. So if you come just a bit under the top bar, as you can see here, and hold Control and drag, that will let you drag that locator, and then I hold Alt and you can drag that like this. So what this will do is for every track that is record armed, you can play the loop and the recording area separately. Say I have a singer or a performer here, typically singers want to do a lot of takes, right? You can set up the loop section with a little lead in for them to, get familiar with when they're going to come in. And you don't have to do it manually. And you can press play. Let's just do a little example. It's obviously not going to record anything, but let's go down to the vocals and bonus tip, actually, bonus favorite thing. If you press D, you can deactivate tracks which are not being used. So that's another cool little tip, little bonus tip. But so now we have our punch in and out locators set here. And one thing I found you have to be careful of is, say that the loop ends here, okay? The in and out won't record the section past this. There might be a way you can change this, actually, so let us know in the comments. But I like to keep the recording a little bit further than it should be, just so I've got that tail. So say you're recording from here to here. This area records a little bit before, which is good. So you can, when you finish recording, you can drag out the handles and make some little fade-in edits to make it sound natural. But you don't want this one to be right on where it should finish, because it will cut off the end tail of the recording. So I always just put it a bar afterwards. It hasn't been a problem for me. So then you can set the loop here and just hit play. Let's put it a bit closer. You can hit play, and then, as you can see here, obviously we're not recording any vocals at the moment, but it's turned on automatically once it goes past this. And so you can just leave this loop playing indefinitely until the singer or the performer is exhausted or tired and all that stuff. But it gives, I think the performer has a lot more natural delivery, and then you can go through all your takes. There's too much stuff to cover in Cubase, but you can have this playing forever, and then you can go to your different takes. Say you have 8 takes like this, and then we can open up the show lanes, and then we can create comps, and you'll have a much more natural sounding take, well, bunch of takes, which I just think is amazing. It's probably my favorite feature in Cubase, and I love it just for recording, and it's so natural that you get more natural takes by recording this way. It's a lot more fun, a lot more natural, better result, better to do, more fun to record, better result, win-win. I love it. Okay, so as always, thank you for joining us today, and I hope there was something for everyone in this video today. I hope there's a little thing you could take away and hopefully use in your next production or change in your workflow in Cubase. There's so much stuff to go through in Cubase, and of course we couldn't cover it all, so do leave a comment down below to tell us maybe what we should have included. And also if there's any of the points here today you'd like us to go more in depth about, because we can make more videos in the future going into detail about some of the features in Cubase. So today was just a kind of overall introduction to some of my favorite features in Cubase today. As always, don't forget to head over to Consordini.com, hit the like button down below if you like the video, hit the subscribe button and the bell button to make sure you get all the updates from us for when we release more videos like this today. I've been Nathan Cleary. Thank you very much again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.